By now you've probably seen the video series where Charles and I raced against the guys from Gears and Gasoline.
In this series, we had a $5,000 budget. Gears and Gasoline got a JDM car, we bought a European car, and we raced to see who would be the fastest in the quarter mile.
During that series, we shot a lot of footage. This video is gonna be a lot of behind the scenes stuff, commentary from he and I, and of answering questions you might have, and covering stuff that you might not know about that happened in the video.
There was a lot that didn't make it to the final cut.
It was.
Let's check it out.
Charles already diagnosed this car. We have confirmed that the timing side of this engine has jump time. So right now we are gonna rip this head off of this car.
Rip it off!
And we are gonna tag team. I have brought a bunch of parts for this. We're trying to fix it. Let's see if he can make noise while I'm talking. I wasn't even talking yet. There we go, that's perfect. Love it. Yeah, that's perfect. We may be able to replace them and do all the work ourselves. That way we can do it on the cheap. Wheel locks are the worst. People did steal wheels fairly often. Apparently Charles is throwing caps at us.
Kicking.
Yeah, wheel locks mostly have become a thing that are gonna ruin your life when you get a flat tire. Hot take. Wheel locks only lock you out when you get a flat tire and you can't change it. Okay, so while Charles is taking off the cam cradle, we can talk about how we got to our current place. We've disassembled a bunch of the engine. We have the timing side here apart on the chain side. You can see this is the chain. Right here is where it relieves itself from chain duties.
Just take the rest of it.
Just took the day off. And unfortunately, when you take the day off on your chain, the rest of the engine takes the day off too. This is how we got here though. So you can see this is what a tensioner should look like. This goes in between right here. And this is what keeps tension on that chain while it goes around and drives the cams. These get brittle and break over time. And as you can see, this chain has been eating into that metal, which is a pretty substantial amount of the shavings we see are probably from this and the chain. Since there is so much gold in the oil pan, the oil filter assembly, the oil filter itself, and a bunch of trash in the oil pump pickup, the condition of this engine is
unquestionably questionable.
Every time we're over here, Paul, there seems like there's like a catastrophe.
We seem to have pretty good luck together. We should continue trying this and see eventually it has to work out.
Yeah, or we will just quit altogether, fixing cars.
Whichever comes first, we'll see. We are taking the intake manifold off so that we can take the cylinder head off. And then we're gonna see what's bent. Bent valves and metal in the engine. That's a real 1-2 knockout punch.
These are bent. They're not like catastrophe bent.
Well, that's great, actually.
But they are bent. The only thing bad about that is we're not
really qualified.
What do you mean? You're a technician.
I know. First of all, I'm a used to be technician at best case scenario, and that we're not head shop guys. We don't do head stuff.
What?
We're married.
As we watch this, I can't help but think if you were to hear the things that we are saying out of context, this would be like a rated R video because there's some implied.
There's a lot of innuendo involved here.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I'm caught on something still. Are we ready? Oh, that's better.
Yeah, I just need to get my footing. Look at that.
Would
you just look at it? We were still not sure once we fixed it, because once we got the head off, we knew we were gonna be able to fix the head ourselves, right? What we didn't know was if the engine was gonna completely nuke immediately once it started running, because there were metal in all kinds of things. We thought it would probably be okay.
Even if that metal were a problem long term, I think we were pretty confident that, at least in the short term, that metal wouldn't be the catalyst for catastrophe.
Due to the budget restrictions of this build, there was a limited amount of money, so a machine shop was out of the question. We provided a lot of the new parts to fix this, which included the intake valves, gaskets, timing belt stuff, and other timing components that were damaged. Now watch as we attempt to repair this cylinder head.
All right, so I am doing new valves since we had bent intake valves. I'm also trying to clean all this carbon. Like, it is just caked on in here. Not a TSI level, but still enough that we need to get some of this yuck out of there.
We're not doing this 100% correct, and you're right. Main reason why this build has a budget, we have to fall within that budget and make the fastest car we can for the least amount of money. And that includes maybe, I don't want to say cutting corners, but maybe shaving them a little.
Paul, both of these turbos look the same, and I don't know which one's the new one. But hold on, let me guess. No, I don't know. They look the same. Was spinning the budget on the same exact turbo
A wise choice?
a wise choice?
It may not have been the best choice, but it was a choice. So KO4s are not huge, but they are significantly capable of more power than a KO3. So it's got at least 1 power more than that's why it goes from 3 to 4.
What if we did a turbo delete?
Ooh.
Turbo delete. I'm on it.
Okay, that's it. No more turbo.
That's how you.
Today we're putting the head on and getting this thing running. From my experience with cars like this, you get them together and then you find more things that are broken. And so we're maybe, I would say, hopefully optimistic that won't happen, but prepared that it potentially could happen. Improvise, adapt, overcome.
Over what now?
Come.
I'm actually feeling pretty good. Look, this is not a terribly hard job. I think part of the problem is disassembly was not as organized as I would prefer. And so, I didn't want to say it, but, so therefore reassembly becomes a little bit more challenging. And Paul should probably tap. Oh, here you go.
Oh,
He was literally laying on it.
This was the exact hammer. This is the upper timing chain pulley.
That is not accurate at all. That is the gear.
This is the upper timing belt gear. Yeah. We're Loctiting the bolt because we don't have the money to be just...
Slam that baby on.
We're not out here just... what do we think I'm Scrooge McDuck and I got money bins to waste on bolts?
You are not on the key. There you go. Do you want me to put that belt on?
No, I can do it.
I mean, I believe in you. I believe you can fly. I believe you can touch the sky.
I believe the children are our future.
I believe you can soar.
Teach them well and let them lead the way.
Look, ultimately, I put the valves in. I timed the cams. So if something happens, it's probably my fault. And if it is Paul's fault, it's my fault for inviting him. So therefore, it's my fault anyway. So I'm willing to just...
It's true.
Die on the sword.
It's true.
Unregardlessly of whose fault it is.
The valves could be a question. The timing it just is what it is. Let's hope this time belt doesn't fall off. We got work to do, fam.
Huh? What are you doing?
I was gonna break that loose and then.
While you hold it?
Well, I hadn't thought that through very thoroughly yet.
I guess not.
Do you gonna grab me?
No, I'm gonna just go get some
wrench
more of my food. There you go.
Charles bailed me out because I was woefully unprepared for that particular situation.
That was worth it though. I enjoyed that quite a lot.
Pierberg, found exclusively at shopdap.com. Not exclusively though.
Do we sell anything that's exclusive, Paul?
I mean, no, we even sell our own stuff to other people. Why would we sell exclusively?
So we could say exclusively?
I mean...
Why would you sell something exclusively when you can get other people to sell?
Yeah.
Okay, what are you unboxing?
I'm unboxing the diverter valve. This diverts your pressure from your turbo in between shifts.
How is that different than a blow-off valve?
This is different from a blow-off valve, and it recirculates the air back around to the intake instead of blowing it off to atmosphere. I made a video on this, how these work.
This is an hour where I'm just getting the feeling a little bit where like
We're getting the weird vibe?
things are gonna start getting weird. Like somehow I got this towel caught in the oil pump. How did that even happen?
That's pretty cool.
I hope I got it all out.
Oh no. Oh no.
Well, when we have no oil pressure and we pull it back apart,
We
and there's
know
a towel
exactly why.
shoved up in it. So I feel like whenever we hit that sort of witching hour, things get weird. And it's never like we're drinking or like, yeah, I could see if we're having a bunch of beers or something. No, this is like native organic weirdness.
Yeah, so if you ever watch us making videos, we're never like drinking while we're working on stuff. Now, if you saw our podcast that we used to formerly do, we used to drink then. And in our videos, there's no drinking, which means everything you see is just
unfiltered us at our best or worst.
We are.
You know, we're working all day. Generally, this is later at night, 10 to 1 a.m. We've worked all day. And ultimately, like, when we're working together and doing these projects, it's fun. Yeah. So you don't have to have this like very stiff persona. It's like hanging out with your buddies and just having a good time. It's like that because it is that, I suppose.
This is why we wear gloves when we work on cars. See, look at my arms. Look at this. I didn't sign up to get this dirty.
What did you sign up for?
I'm not really sure what I signed up for.
Like, is somebody cutting their grass?
Someone does seem like they're cutting.
Like, isn't that what that sounds like?
It's why lawnmowers have headlights, bro.
Like, lawnmowers have headlights?
Yeah, oh yeah.
What?
Oh yeah. Ride-on lawnmowers, bro?
I have a ride-on lawnmower and it doesn't have
it
does have headlights. Hey. I'm just not crazy enough to cut the grass.
You are so bougie. You got a lawnmower with headlights and you don't even know it.
That's how we do it. That's how we do it here, bro. We buy lawnmowers with headlights and then we pay someone to cut our grass. Hey, guess check out the janky thing I'm doing. So remember from the before time in the long ago when we had our noise pipe that ran across the top of the engine and the connection was right here that pumps and that's what it looks like and sounds like when Paul has a temper tantrum.
I've had enough of that time belt cover for right now, so I'm putting the car up to work on something else. I've had enough. That's it. When you're working on cars, sometimes things don't go well. In that particular case, I was struggling to get a time belt cover on, and I decided to move on to something else before I got too frustrated and broke something.
So it's funny that I'm talking about that duct tape over the boost pipe because it turns out that I did a terrible job putting that on, and on the first test drive of like full throttle, it popped off, and I had to limp the car back to the shop.
So that was a learning experience. Duct tape is not up to the task of boost pipes.
So I did a nice little cap here. I think I did a pretty, actually terrible job on it.
No cap.
So yeah, but this is cap.
No cap.
No cap was before, now it's cap.
Paul, can we just run like a turn down pipe for this exhaust? Make it like really loud?
I actually turned down the turn down.
He did.
Because
he vetoed it.
If our downpipe comes down, and let's say for some reason with our dirt nasty power, we're shooting fireballs right into the gas tank.
Oh.
And I don't want to do that because that's a bad choice.
That's the way it goes. See if she farts.
Is that a Craftsman wrench?
This is a Craftsman wrench, a 22 millimeter. I actually have a 24 and a 22 Craftsman just like these because most wrench sets don't come with wrenches of this girth. So when you need girth, you call the Craftsman. I'm just saying. He's gonna struggle with that now. Let's see how much more. I know he's more talented than me, but let's see how much more talented. Watch now as Charles engages with the upper timing cover of a 2.
I like your
narration.
National Geonet.
No matter how many sea lions are eaten each year by sharks, it never seems like enough.
I struggled like a son of a. I originally had a very difficult time, and what I quit doing earlier was fucking with that upper timing cover. And what you saw there was Charles getting it much easier than me. So that's why I said son of a.
I live for the moments in the shop where someone's struggling and having a hard time, and you just come over and go, boop, and it goes right together for you.
I struggled like a son of a. At this point, we had to get the engine back together, and as always, we did turn the engine over beforehand to make sure that everything was in time and everything was functioning properly. Then it was time to move on to the interior. And we're doing some weight reduction is really what's happening right now. We're going on a diet, baby. Mark 5 diet.
This is heavy, probably a quarter pounder of cheese. 1.135 pounds.
What is that for?
This scale? This is a satellite radio module.
Oh.
It's a Cirrus module.
So pretty much something that's completely useless.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul. Hi. How's it going in there?
Well, right now, I'm trying to take apart the center console, and I haven't done it in a very long time. So I'm not sure what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
No, put it back on.
This is what happens when your kids kick your rear vents in. They come through this duct. So that's where I find them, like this, right here.
Yeah, the kids underneath.
The kids, they kick the duct in the back here, at the back of the center console, and then it just goes through, whoop, like a little slide.
And they kick, while they're kicking, you're in the front yelling, I'll turn this car around right now.
I'll stop this car right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, and your blood pressure just skyrocketing, and you're about to have an aneurysm. And your kids, they don't even blink for a second. Look at Daddy's face is getting red. You have your brake cable. It has a spring in here, which you can't. Oh, you can't see on that side. Okay.
Yeah.
And then it has the ratcheting mechanism right here.
So ratchet.
It is so ratchet. It goes back down here to this little rod, and that attaches to your e-brake cables right here and here. And this can adjust as your e-brake cables stretch if you really need to do that. But most times they just rust and you have to replace them before that ever happens.
Facts. All that stuff that we took out added up to roughly 300 pounds of weight, which is about 0.3 of a second in a quarter mile, give or take. You know, obviously, there's a million variables. I think what we did was probably the lowest hanging fruit for weight reduction. Yes, we could have went way deeper. And taking apart an interior when you don't ever have to worry about putting it back together is super easy, because who cares if the clip breaks or the thing doesn't come apart right. When you're taking it apart with the intention of putting the car back together, which was what the intention was, and frankly still is, you have to be much more careful and you have to be much more organized. I've taken hundreds of interiors apart in cars. In fact, I have 3 cars sitting right here with the interior out right now. Scratch that 4 because the Miata interior is out too. So it's not hard, but when you're going back together with it, you really do reap the benefit of proper organization on the reassembly side.
After stripping the interior to save weight, we were then ready to move on to the last step, which was the nitrous. If you like this video or you want to check out us installing nitrous on this car, which has a little more detail, you can check out our other video, which will be linked in the description below. We put on our 100 shot of nitrous and went over to the dyno, and I bet you probably know what happens next. We obviously blew up the engine immediately. That was a mistake. We have in our video, basically, we talked to a nitrous expert who some of you is more familiar, kind of went down the things you should and shouldn't do. Obviously, we did a lot of the shouldn't. More importantly, I think we got a lot of heat online, obviously more heat than me, but about that we intentionally blew up the car because we expected that we were going to lose. That was, I think, for the most common theme, right?
I think so. And look, I guess I understand why you would have come to that conclusion. What I can tell you is, first of all, I'm way too lazy to actually have to do all that work all over again. And we still got to fix the Jetta. And I also like to say never attribute to malice what you can to incompetence. And we definitely fell in the incompetent category on that one.
Power they had, we knew it was an engine swap. That was about all we knew. We didn't know the thing had a boost. That it was going to be quick. So we knew we were going to be in a tight tolerance, and we knew we probably had to shoot for the moon to have a shot to win. We flew a little close to the sun because our wings were made of connecting rods that were not very powerful.
Hollow connecting rods. Also, like, when you're in these situations, like, yeah, we wanted to win. Obviously, that was important. I don't think that was the most important thing, but like, we wanted to have fun with this and see what would happen. Should we have started at 100 shot, which equates to roughly 170 shot? No!
We didn't know that about the whole, we didn't know a lot of things. One of them related to boost and nitrous combined increases the shot. So it amplifies it. That's most notably. So we didn't know. We probably would have shot a 30 shot had we done that, honestly.
Not malice, stupidity. And I had no idea that there was that S4 around anyway, or I would have bought that car first. I would have never bought the Jetta. I would have bought the S4 first and went that route. But I got a ton of crap on the S4 too, so who knows?
Now we have an S4 with a broken transmission that needs to be repaired. Charles started by removing the mechatronics unit, putting a harness in there to fix it or attempt to fix it. It only partially fixed the problem, and then we were forced to put a clutch pack in. Now we have to remove the transmission to allow us to put that in.
God, these are heavy.
So yeah, we're Charles and our tag team in the transmission removal.
Whoop, there it is. Also, let me just take a moment to complain, like, really? Why not put the nuts on the bottom side?
Dude, it's the worst.
Typical Volkswagen Audi nonsense.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you have studs? Put them up. Yeah, that's the way it goes. Engineers, they've never worked on any of the cars in real life, so they don't realize, like, oh, when you look front of the car, oh, the nuts are on the opposite side? Yeah, makes sense. They'd be a piece of cake to take off, except for they're not.
Can we just drop an F down in the chat for engineers doing dumb crap like that? Ow! I didn't realize that was so flexible. Oh! And that means we might not have to take
any of that off.
all the rest of this back off, which would be excellent.
That would be excellent.
The transmission is going to drop down. So what Paul's saying is when we drop this down, we'll have enough room to drop it down and then slide it out, which is awesome.
We, at our shop, had a problem with a trans jack we had that was not quite strong enough for these transes, and it got a little sketch. So we had to buy a new one so that we could actually take transes out like this, because they're really heavy. Yeah. So
I mean, odds are it'll be okay. Like, odds are it'll be fine. It's making me a little uneasy.
So, safety first, kids.
Safety third.
So the plan is to use this instead. We have to take this handle off. We're just basically gonna drop the car back down on top of this. If you were trying to do this in your driveway at home, good luck. There we go. Yeah, that's it. Oh, we're separated.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, keep going.
Coming down.
And
Bro, I think we're clear.
This side's good to go. I think we're clear.
I think we are clear as clear can be.
Yeah.
Bro! I'm feeling real good about that, ND.
Right here, we're just inspecting their vehicle to ensure that there's no other issues with it.
Oh, there's issues.
How's it looking?
There's a minor oil leak.
We don't need oil.
The upper timing cover, oil. This would be an opportune time to replace timing chain adjusters. But since we have no idea if this car is even going to be able to drive after we're done with this,
that's a dumb choice.
That would be stupid to do. We're not doing it while we're in there because
we're not while we're in there.
We don't even know if while we're here this thing's gonna run.
While we're in here.
Yeah, we're hopeful.
We're optimistic.
Optimistic. So let's go. Replace that clutch. Charles has speculation. He says, I don't think we may not lose that much fluid. I'm wondering if that's true because if we look over here, as you can see, this is a very large hole. Depending on how high the fluid level is, this may dump only a little bit if it's like here, or a lot of it if it's up here.
It's a fun game.
So let's find out together. Oh,
look at that.
Yeah, boy.
That came right out. Ooh, it's kind of yucky.
No, he's gonna pry it while I pull.
We're gonna wiggle and jiggle.
Ooh. Just try not to get my arm too much. Yeah. Oh,
he got it.
Yahtzee.
All right. So in the video, it looks like it just takes us a few seconds to get that whole DSG clutch pack unit out of the transmission. There is a special tool that we don't have that, obviously. I don't know, we probably spent 30 minutes, like wiggle, maybe not quite 30 minutes, but we spent a good amount of time trying to get that damn thing out.
There's a lot of prying and tugging going on there.
Little pry, little tug, definitely not safe.
He almost ripped my arm open with a pick.
At least 3 times.
You saw that happen right there, just merely moments ago. Oh,
he got it.
Yahtzee.
All right.
You don't need any special tools.
Go ahead.
Perseverance.
Stubbornness, stupidity. A little further. Nice. Not a drop.
Not a single drop. Let's see.
Man, whoever did that harness did such a good job. Oh, it stinks.
It does smell really bad. Ooh,
oh,
wow.
Snap. Yep. Discoloration. Oh my gosh, look at how hot that got.
Oh god.
Wow.
That's it. That's how long it's been slipping for.
Yep. Bro. Oh my gosh. Holy cow.
Awesome.
There's even like bluing.
Dude, all of them are burned up. Look at that.
Wow.
Oh, they look like they're getting worse.
Yeah, it does. This is cool. Like, I've never seen one of these so overall sad. Oh man, that's great. So now, I think I think we can feel good about our diagnosis. Slipping.
Just like put it back together and
Just like that. So we've already taken this apart. Ooh, I like that noise.
I got yelled at for doing that in a DSG video.
I like this. This is like, I feel like if I was a person who meditated,
You'd start your meds with that.
mm-hmm.
I'm actually in a super good mood that things are so, like, people get really sad when they're like, oh, my car's broken, I found this problem. For me, I'm like, hell yeah, we found something definitive that was a problem, so I'm a lot more confident in our shotgun diagnosis approach. But man, those are, I've never seen a DSG clutch pack smoke like that before.
I like it.
you burn clutches like that when you're granny shifting, not double clutching like
No, see, that you're right, because it should have been double clutching,
Like
but it was single clutching, which is why these are burnt and these aren't.
Yeah.
So if you don't double clutch your dual clutch, this is what happens.
Yeah.
So you better not single clutch.
Fix your car, kids.
Yeah.
We don't know that this cheap S4 is going to drive yet.
But Charles is in a good mood now. So.
He is in a good mood. Because he's pretty confident. So
He's got a long way to fall when he starts it up and it runs like
if it doesn't work, he's gonna spin around like the Tasmanian devil, just tear apart everything.
Finding those burnt clutches was probably one of my favorite moments of the whole series. Like, what an amazingly satisfying moment. What the heck would we have done if we pulled that apart and that wasn't burnt, or we put it in and it didn't fix the transmission?
So
Besides cry.
Well, I'll tell you what we would have done. We didn't really cover this in any of the videos because it's kind of in depth. But the reason why we couldn't just swap transes, two things. One, the trans that we got that was a deal, the reason why it was a deal is because it was missing components. It wasn't a complete trans.
I did a terrible job explaining that.
More importantly, it was a newer trans for like a B8.5 S4 like mine. Yep. The problem is, those are not swappable. The mech units are VIN locked. They cannot be easily reprogrammed. It's questionable whether they can even be reprogrammed at all.
On the proper
and
car,
with it'll function even if you put that trans in the wrong car.
Missing parts, not programmable, and the connection for the prop shaft on the 8.5 is different from the 8. These are all things that may be overcomeable. However, also something that really is important to keep in mind, the day we did this, we had 3 or 4 days before we needed to go down to the drag strip. Yeah. So time was as big of a factor at this point as anything else.
We would have spent another like 20 hours ripping the trans out, tearing it apart, tearing the other trans apart, and then trying to cobble together a useful transmission out of those. That would have been as bad as the Scirocco.
I made it 100 feet. All right, so Paul's gonna struggle with that. Hey, hang tight on that, tough guy. I call him tough guy for some reason. We're gonna be driving this thing and getting lunch before you know it.
When he says lunch, he means like a very late dinner.
Or you can eat tomorrow.
We're going to be getting breakfast before you know it.
After swapping the clutch pack over from our used transmission, we installed the trans back in the car to get this thing tested.
Keep doing it, Paul. Don't stop, Paul. Paul, don't stop it. Just keep going, buddy. We're almost there. All right, that's good. Yes.
We have the first top bolt in, threaded in, which means the struggle is mostly over.
That's a lie.
For now.
That's a lie.
This current struggle is mostly over. 220,000 mile car, bro. This is the way it happens. Charles, it does be like that. Charles is hooking up the battery. We're about to start this pile of amazingness.
Pile of fine German engineering.
We're gonna find out if we actually fix this car. His face isn't dirty though. His arms are dirty, but his face is fine.
My face.
In a van down by the river.
Fun.
That's that old chain tensioner.
Fun fact, it still does that.
It's going to until you replace the chain tensioners.
Yeah. For a mere $4,000, I could get the dealership to do it.
Yeah.
That place. I like that.
Turn it off. supposed to install an automatic.
A DSG. Actually, we're gonna try drive first. Good.
Not good.
Not good.
An automatic transmission, when you put it into gear, doesn't matter what gear it is, under no circumstance is supposed to stall out. And that car did it immediately.
Yeah,
and it did it
times.
Probably 5 or more times.
I was worried we were going to have to push it out of the shop to
try
get
to
it
drive it.
to drive it. Yeah.
So only in reverse, it would completely stall the engine. So our assumption at that point, he was messing with a bunch of adaptation stuff. Did we ever definitively know why it stopped doing it?
It kind of got better. It may have been one of the adjusters that actually changes the gears was stuck. So there's 4 lined up with the mech unit out. The top one, and when you're doing this wiring harness, you're supposed to slide the shaft in, pull it all the way out, and then center it, and that's like reset. I couldn't get the top one to go in at all. I got it pulled out, it was a pain, couldn't get it back in, to go in. So that may have been the one for reverse. I don't really remember. We couldn't initially get all the adaptations to run, and so it could have been a combination of like that side's a little unhappy, and we don't have the adaptation ran properly. If one was an issue, it maybe would have like slammed into reverse or jerked going up the hill or whatever. But with both of them, car cut off. Eventually, I think we just got it happy enough.
We jerked with it eventually, and we didn't have to push it out. It actually did reverse out of here, and then we drove it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty quick.
Oh my goodness.
It's aggressive.
That's pretty quick.
With the
Doesn't even have pulleys yet, and it's pretty fast. It's probably going to be fine for this race, but if you did it long term, it would smoke that clutch too. Like that is fast.
Yeah.
So my advice is
Send it.
Send it, and let's not drive the car very much until between
until it's done being sent.
Yes, yeah. Let's keep the driving to a minimum until we've won our race. Before we run, how are you feeling right before we're about to race? We know their car, we know all the details about it.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I'm more nervous than I expected to be. So it ends up that they have an engine swap to a bigger engine. It's also turbocharged. We know that the car put down about 325 horsepower. We know it has a limited slip.
At the wheels.
At the wheels. We know it has traction bars. So the car's actually pretty well equipped and light. And we got like probably 1,500 pounds of weight over the Civic. I'm mostly nervous about the transmission. It also ended up that our launch control didn't work because the seat was out and this whole cascade of issues there. So I'm nervous, but I'm excited that it's probably going to be pretty close. Yeah. I think we're mostly leaning on it's going to come down to the driver.
At this point, I was pretty confident that if we had run the Jetta without Nitrous, we would have gotten our handed to us.
Because they had about 75 horsepower on us to the wheels and probably 600, 700 less pounds.
But ultimately, we would have gotten drilled without Nitrous by that car. So I think at this point, we were feeling like it was going to be a decent race. Okay, so we are here. Charles is going to be running against the guys from Gears and Gasoline. Behind me, you can see they have their very trash Civic and our kind of trash S4. Their car is actually pretty quick, and we're gonna be running today. So we're at Rockingham Dragway. If you look behind me, you can see here is our quarter-mile track. So we're gonna see if power to rate versus all-wheel drive with traction is gonna make for a good race. What happened on that launch? Woo!
He was sleeping real bad.
He slept in the light is what happened.
So it appeared that I was like not ready at all on that launch. And what I'll say is that I was slow on the launch. And keep in mind, I've never done this before. This is legit the very first time I've ever been on a drag strip.
At all.
So I have no experience. About half my fault. And then the car didn't react like I expected it to. I expected to let off, Matt, car goes. I let off, Matt, and the car's like, and then it goes. Ben got a great launch. It ended up being my fastest time of the day too, which shows how like the transmission kept getting worse as the day went on.
He made dinner. He made dinner on that.
1.0.
He had a 190, so he had an excellent. He had an excellent one on this side.
Ooh.
He was sleeping. He was bad. He was bad sleep. Now 8th mile, 8:45. Oh my God, that was good. Yeah, there's more left in this one, but there's still more left in this one.
112. That's pretty
what
good.
y'all do with tire pressure at?
20.
Shoot, like 30.
No, we didn't lower our pressures. This is our side, and that's your side. So I mean, mostly, yeah, obviously reaction time, we have a mile an hour. We kind of expected that. Your 60 foot was better, so you did have a better launch.
I can't believe how close that was.
So good.
That was sick, dude. I was down there and I was like, is that him? And I just like kind of like looked over and I was like, holy shit, he's right there.
I let up towards the end because I was like, oh, he's gonna beat me. And I'm like, well, I should at least get a good time. And I got back in it.
No, you did.
Yeah.
31. 31.
31. Oh my God.
I thought you guys dropped him earlier.
No, we forgot.
When does a
All right.
Oh, that's funny. So second race clearly went much better. I think what I realized is I needed to be obviously faster with the transition, and I could actually do that sooner. If you've never drag raced before, and again, like I had never done that, I'm thinking like when the light turns green, you go. That's not actually it. You need to be in the act of going when the light turns green, and that doesn't seem like different, but clearly you can see
it's very different.
It's
when
night
you're
and
talking
day
about
difference.
racing. Yeah,
we're talking tenths of a second here.
What we were talking about is you letting off into the gas pedal when the first orange light is just solid on.
Yeah, like once, and you can. It's weird. You can see them kind of illuminate. Like it's not just on or
they're
off.
bulbs. They're not actual bulbs, not LEDs. So
right. So it's like kind of a slow illumination, and once that light was fully on, I'm starting my transition.
Right, and that's when we won.
Yeah, and so from Ben's point of view, he got a much worse launch, and you can actually see him like slow way down because he missed third gear. He may have missed second gear as well, but he definitely missed third gear.
They ran a 14:01 on this one, so he must have missed a gear because he went down half a second in time, and his trap speed was still pretty high, so he definitely missed a gear.
Well, I'm a little disappointed the time's slower, but clearly I won, so I'm much happier about that than not winning.
You weren't double clutching like you should. Yeah. That's what happened.
That was definitely granny shifting.
Yeah. Let's go again, dude. It's like ASAP. Let me check my tire pressures and let's just go again. All right, Charles.
Good race.
This one's for all the marbles.
This is all the marbles.
You have one, I have one.
Okay.
This is the last. This is it. Japanese or European domination.
More importantly, how are you feeling about the integrity of your car?
I think after this one it will break in half, so let's make this one count.
So we just need about 14 seconds of full in, and we're good.
14?
So I don't think he actually realized that he did run a 14, which is why I said 14, and he was shocked that I said that. Thought I was just busting his balls.
Any last words?
I hope I don't miss shift.
That was close.
We should have left it one race.
We knew we shouldn't have done best out of 3.
Yeah, I think we should probably take our advantage on that missed launch on you guys.
Took advantage of it.
That's
at the
close
end.
though. I mean,
It
that's
was
0.1 seconds.
Awesome how I'm so excited that it was really tight race and the cars made it the whole way, because you know the worst thing that would happen is blow up immediately. It's over.
Look, we chose a DSG for a reason, right? And this shows why we made that choice. It was driver error.
Is such a huge part of drag racing, especially front-wheel drive cars that are, I don't want to say fast because I don't think those cars are fast, but they're quick.
Yep.
Cars that are quick, they're super hard to manage. It's very hard to launch those cars.
He said it was all mental. He saw me in front of him, panic set in, and that's why one of the reasons anyway, why he missed third. You know, we think of like, how did he miss a gear? Like everybody knows how to drive manual. And yeah, like when you're going to target, it's no problem.
Also, you're trying to shift as fast as you can. So the timing of when you push in the clutch, push gears, and then let out the clutch, sometimes you're trying to do it so fast, you let out the clutch before you've even pushed it into gear, so that's why you missed the gear.
We're taking both these cars home. I mean,
you don't sound so excited.
Well, it's still running, I think. I don't see it, but
we're taking both these cars home. Let's see what the times are. All right.
What was that reaction?
Oh wow, you guys got it way down. 13.3.
Okay, yeah.
Wow.
Wait, what's up with our mile an hour?
13. Oh, this is way down. Maybe he blew up at the end.
We're down 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's a lot. So we squeaked it out barely.
I think the first round's the only one that counted, right? The first round was the only one that counted? That's what I heard.
Isn't that what he said?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I think that's what he said.
Oh my gosh. Now what I want you to do, I want you to really showcase it. I want you to get up, I want you to go down through there and really go down through there.
I know. I go down there without missing third. Oh my god.
You missed third?
I missed third again, yeah. And then I tried to run fourth out to run you down. And
that's why your trap was so low.
I topped fourth out, and then I went for fifth and went back into third, so. Whoopsie. Yeah.
Dude, that was amazing.
Dude, it's really fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been sleeping on drag racing.
Yeah, dude, you should take this down.
Not even
you know what?
chance.
You know what? I thought it was gonna be way scarier than it is. It's actually a lot of fun.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Okay.
This thing is really fast. I hate that I'm having to lose to a Euro car.
Because we had the track for the day, we were going to run my S4 down there to see what it could do, and the guys from Gears were going to try to put down the best time they could with their Civic.
What did that thing just run?
12:44, 105.
Oh my god.
That's fast.
Dude, that thing took off.
Yeah. That's what launch control is supposed to do.
That's pretty good.
Dude, that thing launches like...
Yeah, like a bat out of hell. Launch control, baby. That's what it do.
You could really, when watching your car launch, and it just like took off like a rocket, I mean, that's the difference.
Right.
It's almost a full second on that last race different between launch control and not.
Nice! Woo! Good job.
What was your best run?
13 flat. 13 flat.
All right. Why couldn't he done that then?
I know, right?
That was his best time, Tall Ben, and the 12.7, which obviously was an awesome time.
I mean, the car was fast, no doubt about it. And I think Ben, by that race, had really started to kind of figure out how to drive the car and not burn the wheels off on launch, or he hit all his gears when he needed to. So great run on that one.
That was awesome. This race right here was done by the shorter Ben, and is this his first or second? This is his second. So this was his second run of this car, and then he immediately broke it. Oh Jesus!
Good job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Evidence, guys. Evidence that German cars are more reliable than Japanese cars.
All right, it is in neutral.
Okay.
So.
This is neutral? I feel like a Civic's not this heavy.
By the way, what the hell was up with that at first? You and I are the ones pushing the damn car, and they're not doing anything.
I didn't notice it until we cut the video. At the time, obviously, we were just like doing our thing, and it's you and I.
And everyone's just standing with their hands in their pockets.
This is where the tire's stuck in from being so hot. If you stay, like, actually plant your foot all the way, you like,
look at this.
You get legit stuck. Like, you have to try to get out. Brakes on.
Brakes on.
It started to roll back.
Brakes are on.
Brakes are on.
Brakes are on. We did
I know.
it.
This is a $200 axle, and we're good to go.
Yeah. Feel a little salt.
Yeah,
Feel a little salt. Hope you're. Yeah, Nate's filming this. Good. This is where the trash talk escalates.
I felt like we were grinding that salt into the wound.
Hold on a second. Hey Ben, you want to jump in my R and you and I can just run down there together, and I can just like take you for a ride so you feel what it feels like.
Where are you going?
Just down the strip, so Ben can experience it.
Well, he did.
I did a poll, thank you.
I mean,
I'll have to time it and see what it actually happened.
You're,
I just want to clarify that this went faster than the S4 did this today. Okay,
It's true. It's true. They blew up an axle running it over and over again. It happens with running cars like this. Race cars break. That's the way they work.
ta-da! Our prize of unspeakable value. Yeah, so this is our trophy, our fabulous trophy from Advanced Auto Parts. Dude, I gotta say, like, this series was so fun. Yep. We blew up an engine. We did some dumb stuff. A lot of the dumb stuff that happened was self-induced. But all in all, it was a lot of fun. I think the race came out as good as you could possibly hope for when you're planning this kind of thing. Their car was a giant pile of garbage. Our car ended up being a giant pile of garbage. Now we have 2, 3 cars, giant piles of garbage. I have a question because we're doing research. Should we do a season 2? The answer to that question is yes. What should we do different for season 2? I'm thinking more challenges. Autocross, maybe a boat race.
Ooh, a boat race. I like
Mario
that.
Kart.
Pinewood Derby.
Oh.
How about that? A basket weaving contest.